Alright, what's poppin', people? We're back. And today, I'm gonna do another coverage of a game from NUPL. Because I'm sick and I feel tired as hell. And I don't want to have to deal with the latter. But, I picked out Pokeslice versus OnArceus. This was a week 3 game, so this happened a good bit ago. I think it actually happened more than 2 weeks ago at this point. But I picked this game out because I think it goes to show how the impact of, like, literally one turn is super strong at times. And can have a massive effect on the entirety of this game. What do I mean by that? Well, what we're gonna see this game, if we're looking at team previews, both of these dragon types sort of just donk the other team. Dragalge to a lesser extent, admittedly, than Egialola. Egialola always sort of naturally has a good matchup against these Vaporeon teams, because Vaporeon's a Pokemon that you can take advantage of fairly easily, pending your set. We actually will see in this game that OnArceus was likely Specs. So, I mean, not the best Eggy set to beat up on Vapo, but still, the point stands. You look at this team, Egialola does not... It needs to get like one prediction right versus Stakataka, and then the game is opened up really well for it. Same thing with Dragalge though, where since this is a very offensive team from OnArceus, Specs Dragalge, which we get revealed very early on, is super duper good. So let's actually get into this game now. So as you're gonna see, both people recognize the threat. They both lead off with their Choice Specs Dragon types, and we are going to see Pokeslice make one of the most ballsy plays of this entire tournament, where he's going to just stay in, timid on both of these Pokemon. He's going to stay in Draco, and he said after the fact that he knows OnArceus is a super aggro player. He felt that this is a play he would make, because if you look at his team, right, odds are he's always just going to want to switch out anyway, and there's not a great mid-ground. I think, frankly, the mid-ground is probably Talon if you want to play this safe, right? Talonflame isn't super good this game because it's trying to contend with both Arrow and Stakataka. I mean, you could even throw in Conda there as a mon that does give it some issues. And so if you're going to just try to mid-ground between Leaf Storm and Draco, those are the only two moves I think this Eggy ever goes for. I think you do risk the Talonflame, so that would have still been a fine play if Pokeslice wants to take it from that more, what's the word, that's safer route, I'll say. If he wants to take the safer approach, then yeah, he always goes Talonflame there. So this aggro one is insane, I think, because there's no reason for him to ever do it other than just knowing his player and being like, you know what, this is a big ass threat, and I know the guy I'm playing is willing to make these super aggressive plays. So he actually ends up making so much progress, and what we're going to see for the rest of the game now, OnArceus is going to make a whole bunch of aggressive plays, right? So he's going to get the Rotoman on the ground valley. He's going to volt on the Dragalge that comes in. He's going to do everything in his power to gain back a lot of lost momentum just from turn 1. And, you know, even here he's going to stay in and just dual Wing Beat for more damage, because, well, to be fair, there's really no reason to switch anyway. What's the ground valley going to do back to you? But he is going to make a lot of plays designed to try to crawl back what he lost early on. And they're not going to work. We're going to end up seeing that from here on out, he just doesn't have the breaking power to break through Vaporeon balance. You know, Vapo balance is probably the most defining archetype in the metagame, and Egialola was his best way of dealing with it. It's not like he can't, right? The title of this video is going to be very, you know, hyperbolic. Right? Oh, how turn 1 determined the entire battle. Like, obviously it didn't. OnArceus still has outs. But the impact of getting rid of the most problematic breaker on the opponent's team, just immediately off rip, is going to be felt the rest of the game. So, actually talking about what's happening right now, of course, the Rotom trying to 1v1 the Vaporeon. Vaporeon is obese, though, so it doesn't really care about the Rotom. It just kind of gets to sit in front of Rotom, waste Leaf Storm PP, which I think is really funny. Our Grass type does not beat this Water type unless you're like Nasty Plot. And we're really seeing the effects, I think, right now of that Eggy being down, right? Even if it's since it specs Eggy, right? At least I'm assuming it was. Is always gonna still have some sort of issues anyway, breaking this team, because you don't get to scout. Actually, I'll pause while I talk about this. You don't get to... Vaporeon gets to scout you, I mean, right? So you're never getting to come in and like a Life Orb set would, just get to always throw off an attack against what's in front of you and then maybe try to read on the next turn. You're kind of just forced to hit what's in front of you and then hope your opponent decides, oh, you know what, I'm gonna stay in as you go for another Leaf Storm, right? Or you double predicting what they'd go into on your locked Leaf Storm. That's why I don't really like Choice Specs Executor too much right now. I feel you're using it to counter team a specific balanced core, and then you're failing to do so because the mon you are using it to take advantage of always has Protect. You know, it just doesn't work out very well. And so, it's just not a good look. Anyhow, Dragalge gets to pick off this too, because there's no fighting type on OnArceus' team. I think a Scarf Passimian even would rail him. That's beside the point. Stack Attack is going to come out now, very easily check this Drapion, because they've, as we're going to see, even super effective Aqua Tail barely doing over 25. I mean, maybe the title isn't too misleading. Maybe it really just is a matter of turn 1 diff. Because the Rotom Bow's not going to come out. It has to Leaf Storm to stack it to take it out. This just invites in Pokeslice is still Valley Ground, because we know it's not a Scarf Rotom. So this mon can always come out, and it doesn't care. Of course, we're going to see him a U-turn, because he would pick off the Ground Valley if he could. And now Vaporeon's back out, and it gets to Scald until it wins. You know, we're going to see after the Rotom faints here, Stack Attack, like, OnArceus' only way of winning at this point was Stacka, setting up Trick Room and then, like, critting Vaporeon after avoiding a burn, but it doesn't avoid a burn, so it doesn't matter. He also misses Stone Edge, which kind of just adds insult to injury, to be frank. But, hey, it is what it is. I think this is a very, very fun game to look back at. Because I'm not sure... I think Pokeslice overall still had an advantageous matchup, right? That Eggy is a problem and a half. Like, it just is. It's... Even though Vaporeon is able to scout what move you lock into, and this is still me playing off the assumption it is Specs. I don't know for sure if it is or not, because we didn't see Life Orb recall, but it could have been like Miracle Seed, I guess, or Dragon Fang, some other just boosting item. But picking it off early on, even with Vaporeon being able to scout what's locking into, is still so good, because yeah, it's great that Vapo can scout it. What happens when I'm getting it in on doubles into Rotom Mow, or doubles into, like, even Stack Attacka? That mon can't OHKO me with anything. I'm just gonna Leaf Storm you. Or Draco with a predicted Talent, you know? Like, it's still a problematic Pokemon, and it's also, of course, one of the couple Pokemon that does prevent your own Valley Ground from running Rough Shot all over the opponent's team. When you look at OnArceus' team, right, his only Pokemon faster than Valley Ground is an Aerodactyl. He's otherwise reliant on, like, Eggy-Alola / Rotom tanking a U-turn, or Sandaconda getting off a Glare, or Drapion Shookaberry saving it, and him getting a Speed tie win in there, right? Like, that turn 1 just gave Slice so many more angles to win this game from, that I think it's really just cool to see how one super aggressive play opened up so much for him. And of course, since he's on my team, that helped us win the week, so I thought that was pretty cool too. And I hope y'all enjoyed this. We might have more of these kinds of videos coming up in the near future while I recover from whatever illness I have. But until next time, man, hope y'all enjoy your day, and I'll catch you then. Peace.